What's up, everybody? You're back once again with YouTube's favorite couple here. That's Ms Diva Talks. I'm the kid JW.
What's up, y'all?
And we're back again, Colliders, with one of our favorite people here, Company Man, talking about my one and only of many favorite restaurants I like to eat at. My favorite chicken restaurant that I like to eat at. No, I don't like the KFC.
I can't tell what all the famous bowls do or whatever.
I don't eat famous bowls. That's it. And I definitely don't like Popeyes. You know, McDonald's got a screwed up attitude. You know, their customer service is like fucking ass. Which brings me to my best place ever, Chick-Fil-A, the number one fast food restaurant in America, voted by yours truly, the kid JW. So, what you feeling?
I'm just ready to see why they're successful. You know,
Shit,
we know you're ready because got a VIP pass, driving past all the other people.
Hell yeah. Skirt, skirt.
Chick-fil-A is easily one of the most successful restaurants there is. Here, I'll prove it. The very first one opened in 1967, and this is hard to believe.
Damn.
Hold up.
They've been around that
long?
About all my parents. Shit.
But every year since then, their sales have been higher than the year before. I'm talking about more than 50 consecutive years of sales growth, leading to 2019 when their U.S. system-wide sales reached $11 billion, which placed them behind only Starbucks and McDonald's.
Yeah.
And that is not even the most impressive part. Chick-fil-A reached $11 billion in sales while only having 2,500 locations, which isn't even a fifth of what the other two have. Some quick math, $11 billion in sales divided over 2,500 restaurants means they sold about $4.4 million at each one. That average is higher than McDonald's or Starbucks.
You and me both. It's a weekend.
Right. And my math is already horrible, so.
Or any other restaurant in the country. For heaven's sake, Subway had almost 10 times the locations and sold less food overall. When you think about it, it makes sense, because those Chick-fil-A locations tend to be way more crowded than any of those other restaurants, and I want to talk about why that's the case. Chick-fil-A does a lot of things differently from the others, so I've identified 5 factors that separate them from the rest of the industry and have likely contributed to their growth and success. First off, I need to talk about the founder, Truett Cathy, because I think the results prove that he was a pretty good businessman. He was famously driven by his religion as far as charitable efforts and the principles that he...
This is the owner?
Yeah.
Okay.
used to run his business. He taught Sunday school for over 50 years.
Oh, Lord.
We know they're religious
He like
people.
the oh, right. Yeah, because okay.
He's been active in establishing...
like shaped like crosses to drive through.
I ain't never paid attention to that.
Yeah.
scholarships and finding homes for foster children. Actually, Chick-fil-A has always been a private company, partially because he felt public investors probably wouldn't approve of all this charity. Before he died in 2014, he even made this contract with his children, saying that they could sell the business, but they could not make it public, neither of which they have done. See, going all the way back to when he was 8 years old during the Great Depression, Truett Cathy was finding ways to earn money for his family by starting his own little businesses. He is from Atlanta, where the Coca-Cola company is headquartered, so he would buy these 6-packs of it for $0.25 and then hustle to sell the bottles for $0.05. I imagine that couldn't have helped his family too much at first because he was making less than a penny per sale, but it did grow and evolve into other small efforts. All of those ended when he left to serve in the Army during along with his brother, Ben Cathy, and soon after they returned in 1946 is when they entered the restaurant.
You have to be 18 to enter into the Army, right?
Yeah.
He does not look 18 right there. He looks more like 15.
Hell, I didn't look 18 when I turned 18. Facial hair makes a person look older.
Ah, good point.
And
Industry.
I had Army, so back then, so I don't know about now, but.
They sold some stuff and gathered all their money together, totaling $4,000, and took out an additional $6,000 loan from the bank and used the money to open a small diner outside of Atlanta near a Ford plant where they would hopefully gain some repeat business from the workers there. And I mean it when I say it was small. It had 4 tables with chairs and 10 stools along the counter, and that was it.
Yep.
To reflect that small size, they even named it the Dwarf Grill, which was later changed to the Dwarf House. It was open 24 hours a day, and when you combine that with their style of hands-on leadership, it made for a busy schedule. One of them would work for 12 hours and then be relieved when the other one would come in and work for 12 hours. Now, you may know that Chick-Fil-A has always been closed on Sundays, which, by the way, makes all those sales numbers from the beginning even more impressive. They are beating Subway not only with fewer locations, but with fewer days. Well, the religious beliefs have obviously factored into that, but Truett Cathy has maintained that the policy started back then so he and everyone else could simply have a break from that crazy schedule. After only 3 years of running that business together, Ben tragically died in a plane crash along with a third Cathy brother named Horace. So Ben's portion of the Dwarf House was transferred to his wife and then to Truett after he bought it from her a year later. That was some crazy stuff that happened there, but it resulted in Truett running the business alone as the full owner. From there, he expanded to a second location that did not work out too well because it burned in a fire in 1960, but it actually turned out to be a good thing because it helped lead to the creation of Chick-Fil-A. My second reason for their success is none other than that famous Chick-Fil-A chicken sandwich. Have you ever had one of these things? My goodness. It was created by...
But come on, what made them famous was...
Never had a chicken sandwich from there.
What?
I've never. This is breaking news right now. Breaking news.
How have you gone, as much as you go to Chick-fil-A, how have you never had the chicken sandwich, which is what put them on?
Cook the chicken nuggets.
Bruh, I can't with you right now. I can't.
The chicken nuggets look.
Cathy himself, and I don't know how much I believe this, but according to the company, that was the first ever chicken sandwich. As they like to say, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. Even if you dispute that and don't think that they were the first, they were definitely huge in popularizing it. See, after that fire, the insurance didn't come through quite like he had hoped, so he was back down to that one original location trying to make up for those lost sales by revitalizing the menu. Then in 1961, he made a deal with a chicken supplier. It turns out that they had recently filled this order for an airline to prepare all of this boneless, skinless chicken breast. But one of the requirements for that order was that the pieces had to be small enough to fit into these little plastic trays that the passengers would use to eat. So they were left with some pieces that were too big. They didn't fit, so they were trying to sell them to Truett, and I'm assuming at a discount. He took advantage of that offer and right away started experimenting with different ways to serve it. He concluded that a pressure cooker would cook it faster. Using more expensive peanut oil improved the taste. He chose to serve it as a sandwich, partially so people wouldn't have to get all greasy from touching the chicken. According to Chick-fil-A, that recipe that he settled on back then is exactly how they make it today. When naming it, he learned that he couldn't put a patent on the words chicken fillet, but he could if he messed around with the letters a bit and called it Chick-fil-A. That tasty recipe, innovative idea, and catchy.
And there you go. Chick-fil-A was born.
Mm-hmm.
The name anyway. You know what? I actually never put that together. Chicken fillet?
Me neither.
Fillet of chicken on a brick? Dang.
Name helped it become the big new menu item over at the Dwarf House. At first, he licensed that sandwich to be sold at other restaurants, but then in 1967 decided that he should open his own restaurant that was centered around it. The first actual Chick-fil-A restaurant opened at the Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is leading me to my next reason behind their success: slow expansion with little to no debt. If you watch this channel, you're probably nodding your head right now in relief, because how many times have I talked about companies that went into debt to expand too fast and it all came crumbling down. Today, I believe they've become one of the few companies that don't carry any debt, but they've always kept it low. In the 1970s, Truett Cathy declared that the new restaurants would be open mostly using their own profits, a strategy that was complemented other strategy of only opening restaurants in shopping malls. I mean, they operated for almost 20 years before they had any freestanding locations. The ones in the malls tend to be smaller and cheaper, so they require less money to open. Chick-fil-A was among the first restaurants to use this mall strategy in the 1960s, and then by the 1980s, when it became more competitive, they were large enough to effectively expand using freestanding locations, which quickly became the majority of them. My next reason is something that you may be expecting to hear: friendly employees and customer service. If you know of a...
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Can I get extra sauce? Of course.
It's my pleasure. McDonald's would never.
Can I get extra sauce? $3.75. What, sauce?
Yeah, right.
I got a 10-piece. You only gave me one. That's the policy. Bro, it's not.
They be holding on to that sauce for their life like their jobs depend on it.
Hell, they probably do.
Restaurant with a friendlier environment than Chick-fil-A, I'd like to hear it, because it's almost unnatural how friendly they are there. You may have noticed this, but they're instructed to not say "you're welcome," but instead to say "my pleasure." That phrase and the overall positive attitude were emphasized by Truett Cathy himself to a point where it's become part of their identity. It's pretty simple. Customers want to be in that environment, so they keep coming back, leading to high sales and packed restaurants. Those employees are able to stay so chipper partially because they seem to be happy to work there. They get unusual benefits like scholarship opportunities, and compared to the rest of the industry, they keep their jobs much longer. It's historically been about a 50 to 60% turnover rate for the hourly employees, compared to an industry average of well over 100. But another potentially overlooked factor here would be the close and qualified management, ensuring that they maintain that friendliness. It's leading me to my next reason. Chick-fil-A is outrageously selective when choosing who runs these restaurants. Again, if you watch this channel, you're probably nodding in relief. Too many times have we seen that when a restaurant gets too obsessed with opening new franchises, it becomes dangerous because...
I love the shade, the subtle shade that he's throwing in the background.
I love it.
They start accepting anybody just to fill those spots, and the quality of the franchisees ends up getting lower and lower. Because Chick-fil-A has spent over 50 years on this slow and steady approach, they've always been able to be pickier, and in fact, they do the whole thing differently. Here, if you want to open a franchise of pretty much any of these fast food restaurants, you basically have to be rich. To even be considered, you have to be willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars and have an overall net worth of hundreds of thousands of dollars. For example, for McDonald's, it's an initial fee of $45,000 and a net worth of $500,000. Statistically, most people cannot afford that, but for Chick-fil-A, they don't even care about your net worth, and they only charge $10,000. Those smaller financial barriers give them a large pool of people trying to do it. They say it's something like 60,000 applications every year, but obviously they don't open 60,000 locations a year. In the end, they end up accepting fewer than 100 of them. That is an acceptance rate of below 0.17%, one of the lowest.
That's probably why I'm still waiting on my damn Chick-fil-A down the street from my house.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, everybody else getting except me. Like, damn, can I get one down the street?
Yeah, even
Detroit Heights.
Detroit Heights, Southfield is getting a Chick-fil-A before lovely Canton. That's funny.
I'm gonna at y'all Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna at y'all.
That you'll ever see for any application. They weed out thousands of people with interviews and essays, and by the end of it, they end up with some pretty good people. And they want them to be really hands-on and present in the day-to-day activities as well, you know, so they can ensure that the restaurant is clean and the employees are friendly to the customers. The company tries to ensure this by rejecting anyone who appears to be looking for what they would consider a passive investment, but also by not allowing them to manage more than 1 or 2 locations. Nice. And I use that word manage instead of own, because unlike most franchisees, they don't have any actual ownership in those locations. Chick-fil-A pays for them and retains ownership, which is why they're required to have a lower financial investment. It's a different system with pros and cons on both ends, but it's proven to lead to more passionate and involved managers, which in turn seems to lead to better maintained restaurants. When looking at my list, these 2 reasons stand out. They are related to each other and make me believe that Chick-fil-A has built a sturdy, well-maintained company. Before I end the video, this has to be mentioned, and I'm pretty sure many of you know what I'm about to say. Chick-fil-A is obviously an extremely religious organization, and it has received a fair amount of backlash over their feelings toward the gay community. The controversies are centered around comments made opposing gay marriage in 2012 by Dan Cathy, who is the son of Truett Cathy and the company's current CEO. In addition to the fact that their charitable organization has donated heavily to charities that hold anti-LGBTQ stances, mainly the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and the Salvation Army. Likely due to this backlash, they have since refrained from speaking out against gay marriage, and it appears that they have stopped donating to those specific charities. It is an extremely touchy subject, those are just the basic facts of it, so I encourage everyone to look further into it and form your own opinions. But I will say, considering this has caused such a negative impact on their reputation, it has surprisingly not harmed their business in any major way. I would say that helps prove just how strong they are and how unlikely it is that they will be failing anytime soon. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Chick-fil-A? Do they in fact have the best chicken sandwich around, or does that title go to Popeyes or one of the others? You know, whether or not you like the food or the company themselves, you can't deny their success. So do you agree with my reasons behind it, or are there others that I failed to mention? In your opinion, what makes Chick-fil-A one of the busiest, most successful restaurants in the country? And any other thoughts you have about them, leave them in the comments.
The food.
The customer service.
And the service.
Yep.
Damn, now I want Chick-fil-A now. But I'm going to get a sandwich. Unlike some people who just go for the nuggets.
They're cheaper.
Like a 2-year-old.
Look, first off, I love chicken nuggets. I love chicken tenders. Okay?
What is wrong with a chicken sandwich?
Shit, the price. I get a kid's meal every
Oh, gosh. Are you serious?
Hell yeah. I went to Friday's kids meal. You know this at Applebee's. Let me get the kids meal version of the mozzarella sticks, please.
I do that too, though, but that's only
because...
No,
you only started doing it because I started doing it, though.
That's only because I only wanted 3.
And that's why I like it.
I'm like, okay, I can do 3 with my hot wings.
And see? That's why I do it, because you get more food for less money.
How are you getting more food for less money?
For example, go to Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. Give me a hamburger.
Are you referring to a Happy Meal right now?
Yeah. A hamburger, a dessert.
Hold up. Happy Meals do not come with a dessert.
Yes, they do.
What's the dessert?
You have your choice of apple slices.
You've got to be kidding.
Cookies. A yogurt. I get a drink, a juice box, and a toy that I give to some random fucking kid I see. All that for only $5. And I'm full.
I can't take any more. So, Colliders, if you all agree with JW, go ahead and leave a comment. If you don't,
leave a comment.
Like the video, okay? If you enjoyed this reaction, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because you know we're coming back with more. If you want to check out Company Man's YouTube channel or see this video for yourself, the links, of course, will be in the description, and, of course, where you can follow me and the official JW on our respective platforms and his kid meal selections at specific restaurants.
Follow me on TikTok because I'm reviewing restaurants now, too, about their kids' meals and their bar food.
That link will be in the description also.
Exactamundo.
Oh, gosh. Bye, y'all.
Later.